Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Okay, just before we begin, I'd like to ask Alden, Nia, and Riley, can you do me a favor and fill 3 seats in front of me? Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Okay, welcome to our first and only master course for November. No, you guys are really excited. We're gonna have one next week. But before we begin and before I introduce our guests for today, I'd like to recognize 2 people. One is Sophia, whose birthday is today. I believe she's with us on Zoom. So send her messages, you know, felicitate, English. Felicitate with her today, please. And Joanne, whose birthday was yesterday. So felicitate with him, please. Today our guest is someone who is a trained systems engineer. And as a systems engineer, she helped create the elections or voting system for many countries throughout the world. Now she leads the Hispanic Entrepreneurship Initiative, which helps Hispanic entrepreneurs with business acculturation in the US. She is very, 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 very ambitious, very dynamic, and an out-of-the-box thinker. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Yulimar.
That's a Toastmaster thing. I just shake the hand and you're changing here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy to see you here. And let me jump right there with a question. I want to see, raise your hand if you love to travel. Oh, pretty much everybody. You see, you don't love to travel? Okay, perfect. And let me ask you, why do you like to travel? Just shut out. Tell me why. Go ahead. Experience? New cultures. Yeah, right there. You got the point. What else? Experiences. What else?
Like adventure.
Adventure. Something new, right? What else?
New city, new places.
New city, new places. How are people doing stuff there? Yes.
Food.
Yes.
Food. My husband is a foodie. That's the first reason for him to travel. Anybody else? Something different? Okay. So this is important for me to know, and I'm very happy that everybody loves to raise the hand because I'm a big fan of traveling as well. But what we're talking about today is a journey, but it's a journey that goes hand in hand, the places we visit, but also within. When you signed up for what you're doing at WhatsApp, you maybe didn't know, but you signed up for a journey of discovery, of adventure. I have to tell you, social entrepreneurship has a lot of adventure in it. Variety, for sure. And that's what I'm going to share today with you, okay? We're going to talk about social entrepreneurship as a journey. And in the agenda, I'm going to tell you these are the elements I bring to the table, okay? So we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about what will it be with the social element. What is about social entrepreneurship, social impact. We're going to talk about my experience in particular as an immigrant. I want to ask you, who among you is from Boca Raton, Florida? Nobody's from Boca Raton, Florida. Who of you is from Florida? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Another state? Another country? Check that out. So you got already a bunch of things that we're going to talk today. You already have experience. You already have, at this age, gone through so many things that are contributing to the perspective that you are building. And that is so priceless. When I was young. Okay, so entrepreneurship, social impact, and my part as a Latina in the United States, that is a very particular element that I want to share with you. And then we're going to talk about global and maybe a little bit of a concept of local. So global issues in a local context, okay? So there is the agenda, and let's jump in. Entrepreneurship. Anybody that can tell me here, how do you define an entrepreneur? Anyway, please. An entrepreneur. What is an entrepreneur?
Someone who owns a business.
Someone that
Owns a business.
owns a business. Yes, that
A
too.
worker, a risk taker.
A risk taker, absolutely. A risk taker. But why are we taking risks as an entrepreneur?
Because one, there's a problem to solve and profit to make.
Problem to solve, profit to make. I want to stay with the first, definitely the second. We are going to talk about that a little bit. But we are risk takers because we have an idea, right? We think that there is a problem, and it's a problem that what? Needs to be solved, right? It could be children, it could be women, it could be immigrants, it could be voters, it could be animals, whatever it is, we think there is a problem, and we think that there is a possible solution, and that we can do something. That's why we're taking the risk. What else defines an entrepreneur? Anybody else has something different, please?
Someone with a vision.
Someone with
With
a
a vision.
vision. Thank you. What's your name?
I'm Riley.
Riley. Okay, I'm gonna be asking your names because I don't know all your names, but a vision. So combine all those things, a problem to solve, taking the risk to solve that problem, and you have a vision. Do we associate entrepreneurs with a little bit of crazy? Yay or nay?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Who say no, please? Why?
Because why would you associate that with someone being crazy? You have a vision, something that you're passionate about. Just because they don't see it doesn't mean you're crazy.
There. Thank you. Absolutely. No, but it's true. In your head, and it's always going to be that way. In your head, you are not only seeing the idea, you see the solution, you're working towards that. And for you, it's a reality that is going to come from here and materialize on something, right?
Yeah.
But the other people do not see that. They are not in your head. And they go like, no, that has never been done. Oh, no, we don't do that way. Oh, no, that's too hard. And then you come and you take the risk and you make that vision happen. So all those are definitions that are important for us to remember all along, but because once an entrepreneur, there you go, always an entrepreneur. When you know that you have an idea that can be implemented and that you are willing and able to stomach the risk, you're unstoppable. And if I had any expectation of today's lecture when it's finished or this sharing, is that you will clearly know that all of you are totally unstoppable. because you are here the change makers. And that's why it's my honor to be here sharing with you some of that, and whatever serves you for that experience, you know that you have here a big supporter. So entrepreneurship, I will tell you here, there are some elements that I think are very important for us to remember. We are always learning. It never stops. Always learning. But the learning is not the knowledge, right? So your minds are engines, and that engine needs fuel, right? To work? Yeah or nay? Okay.
Yeah.
But the learning, it is not only for you to be feeding your minds with fuel, it's for you to adjust your engine as well. That's a completely different thing. It's not only what you learn, it's the process and the way that you're learning as well. Let that sink for 1 second. It's not only what you read on the books, it's not only the experiences that you have, it's also your mindsets that are going to be changed, that you need to adjust for you to be able to take those risks, for you to be able to solve those problems, for you to be able to implement that vision. The curiosity, you have to be a dreamer. You have to be a dreamer. Who of you consider yourself a dreamer? Thank you. Actually, everybody should be raising the hand at some point. And that you have to discover within, because that's what you're called by, the ones that do not see what is in your head very clearly. You're a dreamer. You're bringing something that nobody else has imagined the way that you have thought about it. Okay? Somebody that has to be very creative and mostly willing to find a way, willing to work with others, willing to say, this was a failure and I'm learning and I'm gonna find another way. That willingness, that ingenuity, that capacity of being creative is so important, because those are going to sustain our lives as an entrepreneur, okay? Observe, and I put out there, the fact that you can see what is happening around you will be key for you to detect what are those problems. You cannot just think, hey, I'm thinking that that's what it should happen. No, here is what is really happening around me, in my community, what is happening in my country, what is happening in the country I was born, or in the state that I was born. What is happening? Let me observe, and that will be so important. Be able to observe, be able to hear, listen very carefully what is happening around. And here is my other favorite, right? Like implementing, being capable of executing, putting in practice, making it happen. It doesn't take only a dreamer to change the world. It takes a team of people that are committed, aligned, and also able to execute, to do the things that need to be done. That means, like in Spanish, you say, like, roll up your sleeves and get to the work, all right? Very intentional, that's the one I want to point out there. Very intentional. You have a purpose, you have an intention, you have a clarity of what is calling. And maybe, I don't know, 19, 20, 21, 22, maybe that is not perfectly clear, and that's okay. You have some idea, you're already here. That's like way ahead of a curve. The thing is, with time, that will clarify. That will be more specific. That will be more intense. And we just have to do the things so we can always walk aligned with that purpose, with that clarity, with that we are supposed to do, that want to do. Okay? Perseverant, flexible, disruptive. You are, when I say change makers, you are the disruptors. And you see there, and please tell yourselves that I can hear you, I am a disruptor. Go ahead, say it.
I am a disruptor.
When you actually let that sink in and you say that over and over again, when you are bringing whatever is your idea into reality, you're changing status quo. Status quo are things the way we know it, yay? So that's the way it is right now. But then enter you in the equation, and a new reality will appear. Little by little sometimes, maybe days, maybe years, maybe one person at a time, or a group at a time. But make sure that you understand this, because you exist, because of what you do, because of a very unique combination of talents and vision and levels of risk. That combination is so unique, and what you're bringing is something that the world has never seen. And you are the first ones that have to be very, very, very clear about that. Disruptors. So I'm sitting here in a room of disruptors, and that makes me very happy. Very flexible. Again, when we're learning, when we're willing, we need to know things are going to change. People are going to change. Processes will change. But the essence of why will remain. The essence of who we are will remain. I am something way beyond 30 years old, and I can tell you that I can still remember, of course, what are my dreams, what I believe, what I have been fighting or working. I used to fight, now I work for, right? Towards. And that part of you never can be lost. Who you really are, you will discover alone. Nobody ever really knows completely who we really are. But observing and learning from ourselves from that journey, embracing the experiences that we are going through, allows us to be more and more flexible. And that gives us more capacity to implement, execute, do. Do I have any questions here? Any comments? Does this resonate with you a little bit? Yeah. Yay? Okay. Let's see. Paper, white paper. I'm going to need white paper here. Okay. So while they are going to distribute the paper, I will tell you this thing. You were mentioning that we are here in an entrepreneurship. We do solve problems and we do have a profit, right? So let me stop on one thing that I'm gonna emphasize here. When we have, can I turn it off? I turn it off here, right? Okay. As entrepreneurs, I will tell you something that you will remember. Let's have a baby. We got it? You have something to write with? Pen and paper?
They're bringing the pen.
It's a fully technology-based university and you don't have a pen and paper.
I got a pen, please.
As a homeschooler mom, I will tell you, you need the pen and paper. I'll tell you why. But that's okay. Perfect. You have pens. Just make sure that you have it.
You don't need the whole picture.
Old fashioned. I'm super old fashioned like that. Okay. Trying to get you.
Who am I? So what is paper?
Everybody has a paper?
Yes.
Everybody has something to write with?
No.
No, not yet? You have a pen? Somewhere here? Okay. Good? Okay. So here we go.
Go to a meeting, you'll find out.
As an entrepreneur, there is one thing that you are already doing. As you walk in this room today, and if my English is not perfect, okay, just to let you know, okay. You are doing right now something that every single entrepreneur and business owner always has to do. Right now, you're doing it. In the minute that you came in the way that you're sitting, in the way that you're looking, you are already selling. You are already selling. Do you know? Did you know that? You are already selling. Because all humans, and this is the one thing that you're going to learn, taken out, we are always selling something. Always. The thing is, what are we selling? If I tell you you're selling right now, as you're sitting there in those chairs, what are you selling? What do you think are we talking about?
You're selling yourself.
You're selling yourself? Oh, yes, let's just massage a little bit that concept. Yeah, but it's true. That
Time.
time? What do you mean?
Like we're giving up time to like be here. You know.
Okay, go ahead.
Kind of like in the sense that we're like selling our like brand and kind of creating like a reputation for ourselves, like the way we like show up, like dress.
It's the way we show up. It's a combination of, yes, it's us. It's our brain, it's our thoughts, it's our brand is kind of the projection of all those things that we bring. Yes, go ahead.
We're also selling dedication.
Yes.
Like we're sitting here, that means we're all dedicated to like listening to you and listening to what you have to say, and like we're also like absorbing the lessons you're teaching. So like we're selling in a way the way we dress, we're selling ourselves, we're selling we're just like selling our dedication.
Yes. And yes, go ahead.
Story. You're selling your story.
You're selling a story as well. Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. And it's a combination of all the things you're saying. Anybody else has something else that you want to put out there? You just mentioned that word. You're selling a vision. As an entrepreneur, and particularly as a social entrepreneur, you're always selling a vision. And yes, you're always showing yourself, you're showing off, and you're putting your time and your dedication and your commitment to say, here I am. And the other person is going to get it. The other person is going to get it. Sometimes you don't have to talk much. You just have to be there in that room, observe and listen, and it hits. It hits. So right now, in this day, from this day on, always remember, we are always selling. The question is, what are we selling? And how are we doing it? Are we helping ourselves with that sell? Is it with a smile? Is it being serious? Is it with the ideas? Is it in the way that we are formulating the idea? Because if I have that vision in my head, it's a great thing. But if I cannot share that vision in a proper way with a potential team for us to work together to make that happen, is that going to help me or not? Right? So I have to be able to sell that vision properly. I have to be able to get that team to want to buy into my vision, to want to be working with me, so we can do more. You agree with that? Okay. So we are always selling. And so the exercise that we're going to do right now, you have your papers already. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. And what I want you to do is to write down what we call the elevator pitch. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
If you have it, great, write it down. If you have it in your mind, great, even better. But I'm going to give you 5 minutes so you can write down an elevator pitch that is 30 seconds. You have only 30 seconds to tell me about you. Okay? Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. It's gonna be only 30 seconds for you to say it. And I want you to make sure that you include in that elevator pitch 3 words that you associate with you, with your brand. You want me to remember those 3 words about you. Just make sure that you include it there. Can you do that?
Yes.
5 minutes on the clock.
Yes. I say it's.
Make sure you're right, because I'm gonna be asking you.
You got me there. I was to come back now. This is really good. Leave me alone.
You have yours? Got it.
It's about your stuff, man. What is the descriptive? What is the I climbed up in the stage.
2 more minutes. Oh my goodness. One more minute.
I'm gonna be kidding. No, you want to be famous, make the Dutch come up. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. So, yeah. I didn't know what that means. Did I ask you? Oh, yeah, you are that actually. I just didn't. You do like to look at the better side. You can, right?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for writing it down. I'm going to be asking you, so you will tell me your name and your elevator pitch all through the rest of the presentation. Was it hard? Was it hard for you? Anybody?
Yes.
Why? Why was it hard? Please share.
Because I don't like talking about myself.
Uh-huh.
I don't like writing things about myself, so it's hard to think about my own story,
Mhm.
who I am.
It is not easy. I asked you to do in 5 minutes something that it takes a good bit to process. Go ahead, why was it hard?
I don't know how to describe myself in 30 seconds.
Right? I get you. Anybody else? What's it? Go ahead.
For me, it's hard because I think if I, like say, an elevator pitch is because I encounter someone that I want to pitch myself to, I will normally know in what industry that person is. But this being just random, I don't know, because if it's somebody, let's say let's say a food in the food industry and that I want to jump in, I will pitch myself in a different way. It just depends the person I will pitch differently.
Okay, that's like 3 steps further. Easy now. Okay? Anyway, yes, go ahead.
It's like hard to combine like all your thoughts into one page. You have
Yes.
so many in your head, you just like, what do I write about?
Yes. And this does, the truth is that a good elevator pitch, first of all, it will take you way more than 5 minutes. It will take you way more than 5 minutes because you really need to get those 30 seconds. You're going to talk about you, which is not easy for some. For a lot of people, it's not easy to talk about you. And the second thing, it has to be compelling enough for the other person just to say, yeah, tell me more about that. And in 30 seconds, how is it possible to make an impression in 30 seconds with your words? How many of you had work on an elevator pitch before? Raise your hand. Okay, very few. This is the first exercise. And if you walk out of here with nothing but knowing that you need to do an elevator pitch, please go ahead and work on that. I'm gonna be asking you. The other thing is that you have only sometimes 30 seconds to say something that really can provoke interest in your counterpart, okay? The person that you're meeting. And as I told you before, you're always selling. So yes, you have to be able, can you tell me what is your name? Your name? Black shirt, yes?
Oh,
Mhm.
Tanya.
Tanya, do you have something? Can you please read it for me?
Sure.
30 seconds. Yes, Tanya, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm a social entrepreneur striving to eradicate child poverty around different communities. I'm passionate, hardworking, and strong to make this goal of mine come true.
Perfect.
That was not 30 seconds.
It was like 10. Where are you from, Tanya?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. That would be nice to know. Yeah, why not?
I'll put that in.
It's interesting. Yes. So eradicate child poverty. So now I know something about your cause. I know something about what is interesting to you. I know about where are you from, right? Let me see, here. You. Do you have the beautiful earrings here? What is your name? And tell me your elevator pitch. Go ahead.
Yeah. And
Your name again?
yeah.
Mia, huh?
And my outlook is like
Say that again.
to help people.
Bye.
With like learning differences.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
To help.
To help people with learning differences.
Okay, perfect. People with learning, different enable learning, right? Okay, perfect. So, sorry that I make you ask it, as I ask you again, it's just that I couldn't hear, which is okay, it's okay. And just, just learning as well. Let me see, there on the last row, gentlemen, yes, please go ahead. You,
Me?
yes, you. Mhm.
My name is Arya and I'm enthusiastic about the projects that I want to work on. I'm from Nepal and want to work on sustainable development. I believe that I'm a spontaneous person who is willing to put into action any solution idea that may work. I don't fear failure and think that I can use those learnings to make better decisions in my future.
Okay. Tell me your name again.
Arya.
Arya. Okay, so I learned from you that you're enthusiastic, that you like to do, that you are from Nepal,
Yes.
and you like to work on sustainable.
Development.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's just developing areas around poverty using sustainable products and also working on the environment.
Okay, so I want to hear that. In that elevator pitch, I want to hear that. Was that sustainable, products to eradicate poverty through. And it has to be very clear because then I go, okay, perfect. So I understand. You're working to eradicate child poverty. You're working to help people that are different, able to learn, or they have, they need different needs of learning. You're working to eradicate poverty by sustainable development. So it is simple. It's just 3 sentences sometimes. Just 3 sentences. How are you?
I said, I am a young African-American male from outside the DC area. I'm a natural born leader that is trustworthy and brave enough to take risks. I have aspirations to become an entrepreneur in the affordable housing area. I am eager to become successful, and I'm always a student with open ears, willing and ready to work.
Great. I know where you're from. I see some of your characteristics, and I don't have exactly what is the area that you like to work on.
Affordable housing.
Affordable housing. Okay. I want to hear in the elevator pitch, right? I want to hear a little bit more about that. So what are you doing about affordable housing? Are you making it accessible for everybody? Are you trying to educate the population? Are you working with constructions today? You're loving, I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing, I want to hear about it because it's always a work because you're telling me about your background. I was in Washington, DC just last week. So that's so cool that you were there. So I want to hear about you. I want to hear about what you do. And I want to hear a little bit about what you bring that is a tad different. Does that make any sense? It's very simple, 3 sentences. And yes, we have to pitch ourselves. At every single time, we have to be able to talk about ourselves. And we need to break that barrier. There are 2 obstacles to any entrepreneur. One has to do with that, selling yourself and selling your idea. And the second one is the money talk. Yay or nay? Have you heard about it?
No.
No? Those are the 2 biggest obstacles for any entrepreneur to understand how that sell, the pitch, the transmitting, the vision and the idea of who you are and what you do. And the other obstacle, learning point, I want to call it, is the money. The money conversation. Who among you is comfortable talking about money? It's not the majority. Comfortable about money. How much you spend? How much are you creating? How much is that? How much are you earning? How much is your company making? Financial statements, cash flow. No?
Yes. Yes.
And at some point, we all have to be comfortable talking about it because that's the life of what we do, right? So this exercise, take it with you, work on it. I'm gonna keep asking, so don't worry. Let's continue, all right? So the social entrepreneurship process, Joanne was making fun of me because in my training, I train immigrant Latin American entrepreneurs. That's what I do. And I help them understand what is the business culture in the US, because when you come from another country, nobody sits down with you and tell you how it is. Okay? So I help them because they come here and they establish businesses. And for me, it is very important that they can be sustainable in time, that they can not only survive, but thrive. And the cultural element is key on it. So that's the gap I'm helping close. Okay? And I always teach in my classes the word process. Everything is a process. And then they were laughing at me. What is the word process? Here's the word process.
Thank you.
And this is a cycle that repeats endlessly. We are always searching about that problem, about ourselves. And we're then finding something. And based on that, we dig deeper. We establish a base, we build, and then again, we continue searching, finding, digging deeper, and building. Never ends. Okay? So now let's talk about social entrepreneurship, and let's talk about this. What I love to say, real life implications. One of them is that the money conversation is always going to be there, right? And if you want to do something, either a for-profit that is doing a social impact or a non-profit that is doing a social impact, it doesn't matter. In both conversations, you're going to need the money. How many of you are thinking of doing something non-profit for the non-profit wrap? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're minority. It's okay, that's good. That's okay, that's the way though. But then when we're talking about a for-profit that is doing a social impact, right? We need to know not only that, how is that money gonna come from? And how are we going to align what has to happen with our vision and dream? Do you see what I'm saying? So the reality is there, you need to eat, you need to pay the salaries of the team that is gonna be working with you, whatever it is. But you also need to be true to yourself and to your mission, to your why. And those things, yes, they can work together. They can be aligned. In my experience of what I have been doing on the last years, absolutely yes. You can do what you love and keep loving it. You can learn every single day. Yes, there is always a lot of room to learn, and you can make money out of it. It's a fact. And whoever tells you the opposite, just don't believe them, because that's their experience. And you are disruptors, you're here to make the change. But I tell you, it is possible. And that is very fulfilling, because you say, I believe in something, I'm bringing a solution to the world. People are interested in doing it. And that means that I have to make it happen in a certain way. And then I have to learn so many other things other than what I love to do. I need to learn how to speak properly, because you're selling, right? And you're selling a vision. It's even more important than a product or a service. It's also the vision, right? You also have to know how to manage a team. You need to know about leadership. You need to know about how to do certain things and how to coordinate talent that is going to help you, right? You need to learn about grants if you're going the nonprofit route. You need to learn about cash flow and financial statements if you're not yet comfortable with that conversation. You need to learn about technology. You need to learn about whatever it is. There is a lot of room for improvement, and there's a lot to learn. And that is real life entrepreneurship. It's not only a dream, it's a making it happen, what really takes a team and a lot of work, right? When I talk about endless possibilities, the sky's the limit. Whatever is it that you have one, how many are here? 30? Around 30 different ways to do something. 30 different problems to be solved in a very unique manner. And that will evolve. In 5 years, you might not be so exactly interested in what you're interested in right now. It's okay, because you're evolving. And that's why you're working on an issue, and then you're gonna work on an issue right beside that, and you're gonna work and expand your body of knowledge and experience, and that's good. On these three, I wanna say it is very important. We are here to make not only a disruption, we are gonna here to change the status quo. And it's so important that we always keep very clear what is our code of ethics, what are our principles, how we do things, what is important for us, because as we grow and as our organization grows, the people that are going to be close to us, working with us, will share that code of ethics. I always tell for hiring, there are 3 things that I like to see, and we were just having that conversation last week. I like to see, first of all, the character of a person. Character, I go for character. Then I look for how coachable, how willing to learn is that person. And the last one that is important for me is skills. Because skills, you can always learn. But you cannot teach character. You cannot teach character. And the eagerness to learn, that you cannot give that to anybody. You have it in you. Have you ever had a mentor? Do you have mentors? Yes, everybody has a mentor. Yes. Why is it important for you to have mentors? Why do you think it's important or useful? Go ahead.
Their guidance. They
Yes.
guide you, they influence you. And it's important because, I think it's important because they can help you. They can help you, they can guide you on wherever you are going. I know my mentor had a big impact on where I want to take me, so.
Thank you. Anybody else? Why is a mentor important? Go ahead.
Most of the time they have enough, or they have a lot of wisdom from and knowledge from experience that could help you like not repeat certain mistakes and that they've already made.
Yes. Perspective, right? Experience gives you perspective, and also that mentor is there where you want to be. Always find, always, and this is another thing. Put it down there. First, we are always selling. Second, we always need a mentor. And be very picky with the mentors that you choose, because out of a program and out of what you're doing in the university in life, you will always need mentors. Pick the good ones. Pick the ones that are there where you want to be, because they will share with you that experience that you want so badly here and say, wow, there you go. I was going that way, but my mentor told me that he already went that way, and it was not good. So at least I know firsthand, what can I do differently? You agree with that? Always be picky with your good mentors. Go and find good mentors in life. And then purpose and cause. You always, when you're talking about social impact, knowing what's happening around you is so important, because it is connected with who you are and what you bring into the world. Knowing what is that cause out there will align with the purpose that you have. You see what I'm saying? So purpose is your intention, what you want to do. And then the cause is the one thing that needs the fixing or the improvement out there in the world. And then as long as you know what you're doing, and how are you doing, what principles are important for you. Is integrity important? Excellence or altruism or innovation, creativity, teamwork? What are the values that you share or you hold dear? With time, you will polish and you will know better. But you need to have the starting point. Clarity is what we're going for. We're not going for perfection. We're going for clarity, clarity of purpose, clarity of principles, clarity of that cause out there or that problem that needs solving. All right, let me see, where are we doing in time? Okay, perfect. On the walk here, and this goes to the next one, right? So I'm gonna put this exercise later. So James was asking me why, if you used to work in electoral technology, so voting, technology for voting. I work on that forever. And I went to more than 30 countries around the world to see how they did and explain how technology will support that. And I believe in democracy. I believe that people should choose the governance, right? Like the representatives. And then he was asking me, why then did you switch from that to this? And I was telling something real life implication. I have children, and those projects as an international expert will require of me to go 5 weeks in a time. And it was really hard for me, and I couldn't handle that, being separated from my children for that long. And so I quit international completely. And I turned my side from living in Boca Raton and working around the world to see in my community what is happening. And that is the reason. And it was very interesting because the story goes that I am from Venezuela. I was born and raised in Venezuela. I'm a twice immigrant because when I was 16 years old, I earned a scholarship in my country. And then I went to study in France for 2 years. Then I went back to Venezuela and finished my degree of systems engineering there. And then the company I was working for hired me to come here to the United States and work in that area that was to do with electoral technology. Now, being in a different country where the language is not the language that you talk from the beginning, and the culture and everything else really shakes you, right? Like it's very different. But for me, it was very hard to see what was happening. I don't know if any of you are aware. Anybody here from Venezuela? No, right? Well, yeah. Anybody else other than the one I know from Venezuela? It's a very difficult political situation and social economic situation. And then it was very hard for me to see and acknowledge that in a way, I felt that I lost the country I was born. All right, so it was really hard to see, and I didn't want to talk to any Latino. I was not looking for any Latino food or any of that. I was not at all. I married a gringo, I call it, a very tall, handsome gringo. And then, yeah, it just happened to be that way. And then I was not looking for that. I was not looking for the people that I will identify myself with just because I was born in the same country or with the same culture. And then what happened is that I had a painful, how you call that, an epiphany. I went with a friend and it was just listening to music from a Venezuelan artist in a group that is all around the world, because now Venezuelans are all over the world. We had to go out of our country and go and seek a new future somewhere else. And I realized I was eating tequeño. Tequeño is a little dish that is a Venezuelan dish. And I just realized I cannot deny who I am. I am American. I love this country. I love this country with all the everything that we see here, the good and bad and the ugly. I love this country because it's truly the land of possibility. You can do anything and everything you want to do. And this is a great experiment. And I believe 110% that we can make it no matter where we are from, and that we bring something to this land. But I also recognize that I am born and raised in Venezuela, and I have salsa and tequeños and plátanos and Spanish and French and everything else. And denying that was really denying the value that I had to bring to the table. So I had to be both. And I don't know if ever any of you has had that you feel that you belong to two worlds. And you don't know which one sometimes, but you're both. And that is what makes you so unique. And that is why your perspective is so priceless. Because you have seen things that nobody else has seen. You see the way that nobody else can see. And that is a serious disruptor. Does that resonate with you somehow? Anybody want to share if you feel, if you're from another country or you were born in another country, have you ever felt that contrast or that? Yes, go ahead.
I felt that.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Egypt.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah.
How cool.
I lived there like in my young adolescent years, and I came back to America when I was a teenager. So I felt the difference. It didn't bother me this much until I came to college. And I realized, like, because my culture is very different there, like you guys like drink, you guys party. But in Egypt, we party way different. It didn't bother me this much till last year. And like coming back, like it didn't, like I didn't have that time to like realize that. I didn't like, and I was bullied a lot, like because I didn't speak good English as I do now. Like I would understand English, but I couldn't speak it very well. So like if anyone bullied, like I could understand it, what they were saying, but I couldn't like defend myself. So I was like very aggressive. My teachers would literally complain about me. Literally like every single day in middle school, my mom would literally receive a phone call from my teachers about how stupid I was being.
Wow. Misunderstood. There you go.
And now every day I would get like a lecture from either my mom or my dad about what am I doing and how to be better. I didn't like listen to that because I didn't care. Because they didn't know how I was feeling. Like both of my sisters, when we were coming back, they had each other because they were in elementary. I was by myself. So I had literally no one. And every day I would come crying home.
But that happens, and you know what? You are at a young age, you have had gone through that. Now imagine somebody coming here as an adult, after having a whole life in the country of origin, being capable, making money, solving problems, and then come here and realize that you cannot even speak the language properly. I don't know, do you know who Sofia Vergara is?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that meme that say, I'm so smart in Spanish?
Yeah.
That's the way we feel so many times. And I know my English is not perfect and, you know, I have to live with that. But the truth is that the idea is being conveyed, it's being transmitted, I hope, right? But the thing is that imagine feeling completely incapable when you're coming to a new country, sometimes because you're forced to, sometimes because you have to, sometimes because the opportunity presented and you're really trying to make a future for your children or for yourself. It's really not an easy thing. So it goes to the next, and I'm gonna pass this one. This is the part that I'm sharing with you as an immigrant. Like maybe not all of us have been yet an immigrant. It's okay, that's fine. I asked first, who is from Boca, who is from Florida, who's from a different state, and who's from a different country. But if you ever can give yourself the experience of living in a different country, I beg you to do it. I beg you to do it. Because it's not easy at all. But it's definitely a transformational process. You never come back being the same person. Everything changes. And that's it. I was 16 years old. I was a long time ago, guys. A long time ago. It looks good, but not makeup. So it was 16 years old. Imagine a 16 years old born and raised in Venezuela going to France. And in France, everybody's old in that way of mind, right? And everything is old. The buildings are 200 years old. The metro is old in Paris, right? And then you have, I remember so clearly, I was at Montpellier. Montpellier is a city in the south of France, and that is the oldest faculty of medicine in the world. The oldest in the world. So think about that. And when I see, is it a plaque or a plaque? Plaque, right? La placa.
Plaque.
I see the plaque, and it says, founded in 1299. 1299, they had a college of medicine in Montpellier. So that America was discovered when that college was almost 200 years old. Wow. Think proportions. The Declaration of Independence was almost 500 years after that was founded. Can you see the perspective? Yeah. You go like, this is old. These people have been teaching medicine for so long, and we were just like putting arrows and everything. Like, oh my goodness. When you think about it, it just, wow. People were building up stuff way before we thought. Anybody of you have ever been in Rome, in Italy? Have you seen the Colosseum? What did you feel when you saw that?
It's just so old. It's pretty.
And it's still standing.
Yeah.
They build it right.
They built it right. The right, I would have to say, but I say, please, if you ever had the experience, if you ever have the chance to have this type of experience, go through it. I strongly recommend it because of you that are already or have already experienced being an immigrant. We know that this changes you forever. It changes you forever because you never see the world the same way again. And also, the fact that that perspective of yours enlarged so much. Now you see, humans are humans. I tell you this, I used to go to every country and my job was to ask, how was their electoral process? How did they do elections? That was my job. Ask how they did it and who did what. Okay, how was the voting? How's the preparation? How do you prepare the ballot? Blah, blah, blah. And then everybody will tell me exactly the same thing. Okay, Mr. So-and-so in Argentina, how do you do elections? Okay, we are different. We do it this way. Okay, Mr. So-and-so, how do you do it in Nigeria? Oh, we are different than anybody else. We do it this way. And me going to all the different countries, I knew they were all going to say they were different, but at the same time, it was always the same. You know where is the country that is really, really different? The United States. And how is that? But other than that, everybody will tell me the same thing. And I'm telling you, Argentina, Singapore, oh my gosh, Malaysia, I don't know, what else is there? Costa Rica, Belgium, whatever you think. I went there and they told me the same thing. Oh, we are different. Very different. Okay, that's good. Let me know how. So these two elements of business and culture, and this is what I work every single day, because I went through the experience of being an entrepreneur and going through, because I still am in a way, as an immigrant, and understanding the shock and the transformational process that happens when you have to eat different, walk different, paperwork and errands and, you know, bank accounts and driver's license, everything is very different. And you go there and you go like, well, nobody's telling me how to do that. Nobody tells you how to do that. I have been here almost 20 years living in the United States, and there are certain things that I had no idea yet. I'm yet to learn. And my husband, by the way, he's born and raised in Virginia, and he has never gone to the National Archives and see the Declaration of Independence. I did. And he was born here. So, but that experience, if you can really get and grasp and say, wow, I want to enlarge my perspective. I want to do different. I want to serve in a better way. And mostly, and this goes to the next part, I want to see how the people are doing there. How do they eat? Where do they go? When I went to Argentina, the people, the partners will take me to see tango. And I love tango, right? You know, to dance. And then I don't dance tango, but I love to see it. And they told me, okay, let's take you to the touristic place where everybody goes. And I go, okay, see, all flashy and this and that. But then they took me to where the Argentinians like to see tango. That was a whole different thing. That's how they do it there. That's why they like to see, and it's different quality to it. So that's why when you go to a place, not only traveling, give yourself the opportunity to be in a different community of a different language, a different background. And you see, it's so enriching for ourselves. Anybody up here that wants to share a little bit? Let me see. I'll ask about a couple of elevator pitch. Let's see. Gentleman there with the red shirt. Can you give me your elevator pitch? Name it. Yes, you.
Hi, my name is Raja. I'm South African. First and foremost, I'm a creative artist, and because of this, I'm naturally skilled in everything that regards arts. I love marketing, I love promotion. This allows me to be passionate in everything that I do, to everything with passion. My biggest goal is to enable people from back home to have platforms and channels to become successful. More important, artists and small brands that deserve their attention. That's what I have.
Did I hear well? So your name is Panache? Like in French, Panache?
No, no, start with an S, not a C.
Okay, but it sounds Panache.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
No.
No, could you mention?
So in French, it's panache, so the E is silent. And then this is on the C. And then panache.
Panache. Okay, got it. And from South Africa? And you work with marketing and promotion?
Yes.
And you want to help back home? Mostly artists. I got it, right? You said it there. And I really like that because you said where you're from, what do you care for? You're passionate. And that you're working with artists in the part of promotion and marketing. Did I get it well? That's what I want to walk away with. What are you doing? What are you interested in? My lady, please, with the glasses. Go ahead.
I'm Ariana. I'm from New York, and I hope to create more accessible mental health resources for loved ones of people who struggle with substance abuse. Someone very close to me struggled with drug abuse, so I want to help whoever may be in the same place that I was, so I can help instill hope and create more stable family dynamics.
Thank you. Thank you. So I heard about you from New York, mental health with substance abuse, right? And it's a subject that is very close to you. Maybe a personal story, it's okay. When we say that, and this is something important, when we say that it's very close to me, we always have a personal story, right? I have a personal story of immigration. I have a personal story of entrepreneur. I lived through that. So when we open the door to that, be always aware that we need to be sometimes just knowing, aware that they might ask more about it, and we have to be comfortable with what we're talking. So thank you for sharing that. Let me see the lady with the bonnet, please.
I believe in the power of young people. My mission and personal advocation is to ensure that every young person is mentally and physically happy and healthy to spread their wings and soar through the world. There is a way to conquer the health system, and I'm here to help with it.
There is a way to
Help
conquer?
with the health system, and I'm here. There's a way to conquer the health system, and I'm here to help with it.
Okay, so you're helping, well, first of all, your name I missed.
Oh, my name is Caitlin.
Caitlin, okay. So Caitlin, you're helping young people to be happy and healthy. And I heard something about the health care system.
Yes, kind of like tying it with like the people who are in underfunded communities to have like access to better health.
Perfect. I want to hear that in that pitch. I want to hear that because sometimes it's too wide. The hunger, the children, the women, and then what? You know, like that is something that I also learned here in America, because in the Latino culture, the mindset is like all abstract, oh, there, big, 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 and here is very concrete. This is what we do. This is how we solve it. This is the type of team. This is the mission. Who, what, how, when, where, right? And so for us, it's very important that we can bring those elements as well into our elevator pitch. 30 seconds. The first impressions are lasting. They're not necessarily the right ones, but they last. So make it work for you, right? Is it okay if we do a quick bio break at this point, 5 minutes on the clock, and then we can come back to continue on the second part of it? 5 minutes.
Yes. Yo me todo, todo. No, ya, no, ya.
Calculated.
Thank you, thank you.
I feel like I said too much.
Oversharing. I can tell you right now that that's less than 10 seconds. I see it on the page and it's okay, you're fine. The most important sometimes is not really about a lot. It's not quantity, it's substance.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like sometimes under pressure, people say so much that they don't say.
I agree, absolutely. And that's why you have an elevator.
Yeah.
Because at least it's like you do it so many times that you just, it's a second nature and it's okay. You feel comfortable with it. Do you mind if I hear it? Can you share with me?
Yeah. Okay, so I have, I'm Julia, Raleigh. I'm happily engaged in it, and I'm the daughter of a Puerto Rican mother and Croatian father. I'm the voice for the voiceless and for workers by gender. As an empathetic leader and passionate.
More important is you like it?
Yeah.
Family or whatever. Oh, so you spend extra money.
There's money, the extra money was no money.
We're still
Oh.
enjoying.
Ben is dying for it.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, I'm going.
I forgot that you were cousin. I forgot that. See how
Unless you wonder, I mean, I guess.
No, I don't
Cause I told. Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't know.
I'm very particular. Well, other than your good thing.
I
always had. Oh, yeah. And that's what it's like.
Guess what? I did my part. No.
You just told us why you.
But I know now, like.
Looks like you can- I don't want to. I don't need to. I told you that the order that we keep is back in time.
If I work on a full document, part of it.
Well, they're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah. You have to. It's like, it wouldn't have been fair.
They're in for a
Like,
rude
meeting them together. Have a long.
What did I do again? What did I do again? Recommendations. Towards the solution. Implemented.
You like that?
Is it really? I don't think so. I think it was fine. I've been speaking. So wait, this was basically the first alternative, second alternative, third alternative. And then this was like. And this like. It's basically what was on the website.
Thank you for sharing.
Cool. Wow. What is it? Tonight is gonna be a good night.
Thank you, I hope it is. Something fun.
No, I no, I really do think it is. No, like I hear a word and it's not. Like I like good night and I was.
Oh, wait, this one.
No, we're gonna get past it.
Okay. This is a weird position, right? Because it's so not right. I am more comfortable out there, but I know that the camera somehow. Do we have a camera? Do we still have like here? Okay, okay. So I can stay here, right? Do you mind if I come downstairs here? Everybody will be fine. Okay, thank you. Because I really prefer. Okay. So I had, it was interesting to hear living two worlds can happen in anywhere. Can happen for any reason, actually. And that is something that is part of what we are talking about next that has to do with my part of the experience that I'm going to share with you. I'm Latina. I told you I'm born and raised in Venezuela, and I live here in the United States, and I married a gringo. Keep that on the side. And I would tell you that I went through all the different processes of immigration that you can have. So I was brought here with a working visa, and then when I married him, after working, and we met in Puerto Rico, beautiful Puerto Rico, we married, and then I became a resident and a citizen, right? I underwent all those processes with the immigration office. And I told my husband one time we had to do a paperwork, and I was huge pregnant. And I told him, come with me. And then he's like, well, you know, what for? And I said, because you never believe me the way they treat me. And he's like, oh, you're pregnant, you're seeing things. And then when we went there, he saw what happened. And what happened was, you know, it was a reality that I never, I'm gonna say it flat out here, if that's okay. It's not political, it's just the impression of a process. We were treated like second-class citizens. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that experience. Because it was scream at you and just like, oh, well, you know, like not with the same respect that they would treat my husband, and my husband was right behind me. It was too clear to not see it. You see what I'm saying? And so that was very shocking both for him and for me, because it's like, ooh, I didn't know that happened. In the land of the free and the home of the brave, how is that possible that we have second-class citizens, right? You don't think that. When you haven't experienced that, it's like telling, excuse me, gentlemen, it's like telling a guy, how does it feel to have a baby? You don't know that, you don't have babies, I think, I don't know, but I tell you as a mother, that is a mother, right, I'm not gonna get into it. But I cannot make my husband understand how does it feel to have a baby, because he can't. He has not experienced it. He will never experience it, right? So the experience of being a woman Latina in the US is very peculiar. And also the time and place that we are is very interesting. It's fascinating. Everything is changing. Things are happening. And on that, I will tell you that not only the Hispanic Latino population is the fastest growing community, or my fastest growing minority in the United States. Latinos are creating 3 times now, more like 5 times more businesses than their counterparts that are Caucasian in the country. So pretty much the businesses that are being created, those are the numbers that you're having. right? And then you have also, not only that we're the second largest minority, is something like in 2050, we're gonna be, now we're 20% of the population within the United States, it's gonna be more like 30%, maybe higher. That's 1 out of 3. You're gonna be like throwing a rock and somebody will be speaking Spanish and you think caraotas con arroz, right? Like it's just what it is. So living with that reality and the fact that right now, something super interesting happened. There is the Department of Commerce had how you say, like the direction or like a department in a way that was the minority-owned business department or direction. And now that became a federal agency on itself. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because minority-owned businesses are, minorities are all kinds of minorities, all kinds of colors, right? And also, at this point, veterans are also a minority because it's a part of a population that has a special characteristics, right? So now there is a federal agency that is helping those businesses to get access to resources, to get training, to get a lot of things that were not there able before. And that's a big change. That's huge. And then I shared with you something that still to this day blows my mind. The fact that women are considered a minority. That's my opinion. So look in the room and excuse me again, gentlemen, but you're less than the 20% of this population in this classroom right now.
Yes.
I counted.
I know.
You are the minority. And also in the census, there are more women than men. Explain to me, how are we a minority, right?
True.
And yet here we are. That comes to the next word that I want to put there, because it's in the mission of the Hispanic Entrepreneur Initiative. It's the organization. And in the mission, there is this word that is underrepresented minority. Underrepresented minority. What does that mean? I'm vegetarian, and 10% of the population at any given time is vegetarian, right? That means that if you're in a room right now, we are what, 40? There should be 4 of us that are anybody vegetarian? There you go. See, we are the statistics, people. Right? We are 10% of the room that are vegetarian. So we vegetarians are equally represented in the room. Do you see what I'm saying? The numbers match the population, right? But then, you start seeing at companies, and you see about allocation of resources, and you see, okay, wait a minute. You're telling me that half of employees, half of the population are women, but half of the employees are not women. How can that happen? Does that reflect the population? It doesn't. So if half of the population are women, half of the CEOs should be women, because it's like, we are women, right? Half of them should be women. But do you know the numbers of representation of women at the CX level in companies? Do you know? It's less than 20%, way less than 20%. Now I tell you, the representation of Latino women at the C level in corporate America is like 2%. Does that match the numbers? Wait a minute, half of the population in the United States are women, and 1 out of 3 in the population of the United States are Latino. So those numbers are not representing the reality. Do you see what I'm saying? So underrepresented is the word that I want to put here. So for all of you ladies that are with me, that how do you call me a minority? That's what it is. And then we say, okay, so let's play. And when you play a game, the rules are set so everybody has the same opportunity, right? Yeah. Everybody should say the same. Everybody should have the same opportunity. Everybody should have the same opportunity. And guess what happened? You don't. Because if you don't, if you have a certain color in your skin, I'm brown. And sometimes that is a factor for that decision that has nothing to do with my big, beautiful brain. It's just the skin, and that shouldn't be that way. Or I'm a woman. I got a boss in a company that I work for that told me, I say, hey, listen, I want to be your chief marketing officer. And he told me, you know what he told me? What did he tell me? Anybody has a guess?
No,
No, because.
you're a woman.
No, because women then marry, have babies, and leave the company.
Wow.
Wow. But, spell out. Like I could have can you believe that? And I go like, no. I mean, my mom worked all the time when I was growing up, but hey, of course I had to leave that company. That doesn't align with my values. That's why it's so important that you know your code of ethics, what is important to you, and the things that are non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. If you're not willing and able to consider me for my talent, for what I bring to the table, for my brain, pretty much, or for my character, then let's just find somebody else. Let's work in a different way. That's not what we want. And that has to be so clear, because you're gonna have, or you had internships, and you're gonna have jobs while you're doing your whatever endeavor that you want to be doing. And that has to be crystal clear, because in the part of a real life, people are going to come with their own beliefs and try to push you around with their own beliefs. And you have to be standing very aligned with who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. Do you see what I'm saying? Has it happened to you already? That you are who you are and you believe what you believe, and still people are trying to push you away or try to make you be something you're not just because you look or think in a different way? Has it happened to you?
Yeah.
Yes. That's why we are disruptors. And this is a serious thing, because we don't want anybody else that looks like us or think like us or has gone through a life experience like us to be pushed around either. We are humans. We are all equal. Oh, and please, that's exactly what is in our Declaration of Independence. If you have read the first 3 lines of it, all men are created equal. All humans are created equal, right? So yeah, Hamilton. So what we have here is that already that population is growing, and we are facing real issues here. We are facing real issues here in this country, and that's wonderful, because things that were hidden in the ground now are coming to surface. And that's good, because we want the conversation to happen. Oh, you're different. We don't want you. Oh, I'm here and I'm here to stay. Whatever different is. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you from the experience of being Latina, but there are all kinds of different. Vegetarian, left-handed, whatever you want to put. Okay? So also, when we see what is happening, when I put there global macro trends and local needs, is that right now, everything is shaking, the ground is shaking, things are happening. What are we doing with it? What are we doing for it? What are we doing in the realm of what's happening right now, in this reality, in this time and place? How are we helping those changes happen, and how are we making those changes work for us? In the sense of fulfilling our purpose. Have you thought about it? This is what we do here. Your elevator pitch, please.
Right.
You and your name first.
I didn't have time. I don't have time.
See, I'm gonna ask you. You have to be ready.
Hi, my name is Sonam Kumar. I am a social entrepreneur. I make social impact, social and environmental impact through greeting cards made in Nepal. I like creating impact in most unique way, and this is the reason why I made first and only hand-carved greeting card in the world, with the vision to make impact within the lives of homeless people in Nepal.
Tell me your name again.
Sonam Kumar.
Sonam Kumar. Thank you. What is in a name? You know, give yourself the time to say, I'm Yulimar. That's my name. They call me here in the United States, they call me Yulimar. Yulimar. That's how you know. That's why I put my son Sebastian, like his name is Sebastian, because you can say French and English and Spanish. Sebastian, Sebastian, whatever, right? I put good names for them. So this is the reality that we live with. So no matter where you're from, and no matter what is the mission that you are implementing in this world, making it happen, you're gonna encounter that there is a big group of people. And if you live in Florida, by the way, you're gonna see that everybody here English is spoken, right? Somehow. And do you go often to Miami? Anybody of you that go often to Miami? English is spoken, right? Like the further you go, the more you find out that, you know, Spanish can be useful. But that's a trend that is a macro trend in the country. And we just live with it. And we understand also that there are needs on that population that are real. The fact, and let me tell you this, so an immigrant comes here, and while in the United States, you are an entrepreneur by choice. You chose this, right? You want it. You just want it to be. But then when you come from a different country, so many times you are an entrepreneur out of need. You see the difference? Out of choice and out of need, because you don't have credit. You don't exist in the system. You don't have anybody that vouches for you. And sometimes you don't even have a capital to begin with. Therefore, you're forced to solve the problem, right? And so it's very different when you're sitting there and saying like, oh, my dream is this, and let me have a plan, and let me just establish this and that. Oh, that's so exciting. Out of the fact that you have to eat by selling whatever you're selling, is very different. So when you have a population that is coming with that driver out of need, there are very particular things that we have to consider about it, right? So not everybody is like, oh, step 1, step 2, step 3, this is the format. It doesn't happen that way. And in the particulars of Hispanic and Latino community, that the ones that are coming, it's very important for us to tell them. So this is the system, this is how things are done here. And it's a big shock for them. Big, huge shock. Do you know that in Latin America, it's really unpolite to talk about money? Unpolite. Like, oh, you don't do that. How much, Daddy, how much you make in your work? What's your salary? Oh, you never ask that again. It's so rude. And you go like, what? And here in the United States, you need to know your numbers. At any single time, you need to know what is your operational cost, where are your margins, where is your revenue? And that's just so unpolite when you comment. And that's culture. How do you go against that? Lady with the glasses, will you share with me your elevator pitch? Yes. Black shirt, there. You.
Musician.
Yes. Mhm.
Hi, my name is Arena. I'm from China. My mission area is to creating an educational platform or system that empower young people to learn who they are, what their passion is, and how to realize their self-worth.
Holy cow. How are you doing that? That's what I want to know. That's an elevator pitch that caught my attention, because that's a big thing. How do you help a young person to find out all those things? What? I want to know more. That's the goal of that elevator pitch. The other person said like, "Ooh, tell me more." Yeah, how are you doing that? What kind of help are you needing on that, right? Lady, please share with me. You? Yes. Mhm.
So my name is Trumbo. And my elevator pitch is, Trumbo is a Cameroonian girl who takes pride in defining the status quo of societies where injustices prevail. Having a keen eye for gender stereotypes and psychopathology in the Cameroonian society, she strives to create change through content creation and speaking to younger generations. She's a visionary, consistent, and perseveres since before this achievement.
Okay, That's it. That's so interesting that you decide to take a third person approach on your elevator pitch because you're taking sheet, right? It is I. We speak about us, and it's okay. You know, it takes a time. It's okay. My best friend in France, when I was studying at university, was from Cameroon. Yes. So that is something we own these words. We don't let the words own us. It's about us. Here.
Well, my name is Cynthia and I'm from Nicaragua. I am an undergraduate student majoring in social entrepreneurship with a minor in graphic design. And through my designs and social media skills, my vision is to make a shift into the for-profit driven culture that drives the marketing industry to a non-profit driven culture, which only supports purpose-driven companies that make positive contributions to our community and are collaborating to create impact.
Nicaragua, señor.
Let's make it a little more less fluffy, right? But I know you say that a lot, where you're from, what you want to do, and it's interesting that she said that the for-profit and the non-profit world. I have been in rooms that are all for-profit companies, and it's really a majority. It's a male audience, right? And I was there for a 100 Impact 100. That is a contest where you apply for the grant as a nonprofit, and in a room of 200 people, literally 10 were men. That's interesting to me, because why do you have a for-profit world full of men still at this point, at this day and age, and then you have the nonprofit world full of female? Why will that be? It shouldn't be. That doesn't have to do with gender. It shouldn't be doing with gender, right? Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Like, why is that? We have to think about that kind of differences, right? So we talk about being an entrepreneur, social entrepreneur. We talk about the fact that we have a Latino growing population, and those are just life experiences that we share. But now, when I tell about global, this is the one thing I would like to do with you. You still have your pen and paper, right? Mm-hmm. I'm super old school. I used to homeschool my children. And the whole principle of learning has to do that. It's so simple that you could trace with a little stick in the sand and then show. And the purpose of writing, I know that in Lynn University, this is a sacrilege because we are always on the iPad and stuff. But using your hand on the paper has a special effect for two reasons. First of all, you're materializing those words. You're making it exist when they are written on the paper. That's the first thing. And the second thing, when you're writing by hand, you are firing different parts in your brain regarding those words that you're using. And that's why when we take notes, it's very different when we are handwritten notes than when we are writing on the computer. Just try it. Don't believe me if you don't want to. But you try it and then you tell me the difference after you have been doing it. So I want you to take a piece on your paper and I want you to write there your big dream. What is the thing in the world that you want to see? You said it just simple, in a simple way. I want to see the children's hunger in the state of Florida disappear. I want to see companies for profit have the culture of a nonprofit. I want to work with people with disabilities. I want to work with people that is different able to learn. I want to learn about affordable housing. I want to see that every single Hispanic Latino entrepreneur that is an immigrant has real equal opportunity in this country because they know what the business culture is. See? Go ahead and put it out there in your paper. Just what is that dream of yours? What is that thing that you want to see in the world to change? Take the time to write it down. What I want to see in the world to change is more, I don't know. What I want to see in the world is not having the women to be spoken as minorities. I don't want that. I really don't want that. Right? Do you have yours? Would you give me your elevator pitch meanwhile?
My name is Melissa Quiseno. I am from New Jersey, but I am Latin American and Colombian. So I have very personal experience with undocumented immigrants as my family. Some of them are undocumented immigrants. And my mission is to make healthcare more accessible for undocumented immigrants in the United States, as a lot of people struggle, a lot of people that are citizens already even struggle with getting health insurance and healthcare access. So I would like to make it more accessible and more equitable.
There you go. So I learned about you. I learned that your roots are connected to Colombia, and that you have experienced a first or second hand what an immigrant person we know undocumented has suffered regarding receiving healthcare services. Can I make a suggestion? That you say, I'm from New Jersey, but I'm from Colombia. There is no but, there is and. You see the difference? I have the two worlds. I am from Nepal and I am American. I'm Venezuelan and American. Whatever you are is an and. It's not a but or an or. The power of words, people. That's why you're writing there. The power of words. My lady here in yellow and black, please go ahead.
My advice.
Yes, elevator pitch.
Okay, hi, my name is Nashima Bergeson, but everyone calls me Short. And I'm the funniest child of my parents. And have lived and studied in 4 other countries other than my birth country, Ghana, since 2016. I clearly love a challenge, and that usually comes with adventure. And I'm very adaptable and resourceful to survive. I like to keep my environment lighthearted and warm enough to be able to make me or anyone around me feel safe and welcome. I typically enjoy breaking down systems and optimizing them. And the latest is improving academic support systems for people with learning disabilities.
Okay. So I mean, somebody here that is working on processes too. Keep an eye. Great. I want to know about that. And the part where, we get personal. We say what we like, what we do. No need to be too much. Just
Yeah.
All right. I like that you had lived and studied in 4 different countries.
Yeah.
Wow. Can I ask you what countries are those?
South Africa, France, and then London, like the UK.
Okay, and then here, wow. See, if I ask a second question, that's a good thing. So you had an attention grabber, something that says that, ooh, I want to know more. Remember, the whole point is that we want to know more. So global issues in a local context. So you have written there your dream, your big thing that you want to see. Let's share here somebody that has what's your big dream? What's your big thing that you want to see in the world to happen?
Well, equitable communities.
What does that mean?
Communities that aim to be self-sufficient.
In what sense? Economic or how?
General.
Okay, so that is something that, yes, and, okay, we need to polish. In what sense? This is like a gender equality, economic equality, job opportunity equality. What equality are we talking about? It's very important that we start shaping in a way, because what happened is that the problem is this big, remember? But then our actions can be done in this way. Very punctual, very focused. But from there, we do until we can really do a lot. Through the help of people, through the collaboration with teams. But we had to start with something. One thing, one brick. See? Okay, let me see. Big dream. Gentlemen.
I would like to help the mental health services and well-being of teens.
Are you kind of working together? Here now? But you're specifically with mental health of teens. And any geographical area in particular?
I would probably start like small, like locally, because I feel like that's a lot easier.
If you have to begin, where will you begin? Because mental health is like huge.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would obviously do something like for America, like
Mhm.
here, but then like, if I were to start small, you start like in, your hometown. Something like that,
Okay,
Florida.
perfect. And see what the question I'm doing, I'm here. Bringing it up, bringing it to the ground to see what is the first brick? Remember always, if you have to take away something, what is the first brick? Where is the first step? Where am I starting? We talk about the teens. The teens are huge population. And then geographically speaking, the United States is still a huge area. So the teens in Florida, in Palm Beach, in Lane University, yes, that's a great beginning because now you have a bunch of things, right? And then what kind of problem can I help them go? Depression, feeling lonely, stress, anxiety. There are so many things that are in the area. So beginning with something, great job. The gentleman with the suit that has the hair, here, you. Can you tell me what is your big dream? Your big dream?
It would be going into the political field. I'm wanting to create a new political party because I don't think the two political parties we have now in the United States are working out very well.
Perfect. We need that. And where will you begin?
I'm probably gonna go to Washington to study some.
Study some. How was it done so we can do differently?
Yeah.
Big disruptors. There was a scientist, Gauss, that actually had theorems in every part of physics. And actually the first thing I did was to master physics as we knew it, to then create something. So absolutely great. Let me see, the gentleman, your big dream. Yes, and tell me your name too.
Okay, my name's Eric, and I want to live in a world where Black men feel safe to practice self-care to best benefit their mental health.
I like that. Where they can feel safe, that's something that we never speak because in the concept or the mindset, it's like, yeah, they don't have that. They do, right? The gentleman right there, yes, in the corner, please. Your big dream, tell me your big dream and your name.
I'm Olabanje. I want to see a world where every child have the freedom to dream, irrespective of their socioeconomic background.
Can you say it again, please? Slowly.
A world where every child have the freedom to dream, irrespective of their socioeconomic background.
Yes, I like that. That is a vision. There is a world out there. And how will you implement it? How will you do? Where will you start?
Yeah, I actually have an organization back home in Nigeria in which work on making sure children have the freedom to dream.
Thank you. They will be entrepreneurs or artists, right? I like that. My lady, your big dream.
I want to see the criminal justice and prison system value and prioritize mental health people who are affected by it.
My gosh. Have you been working on that? Trying?
Yeah.
What is your name?
Annabelle.
Annabelle. Here is where I ask, what made you pick that?
Because I want to be a lawyer and I want to be a defense attorney for those who like are underrepresented and don't get the representation due to like the money aspect and just like how like society sees like defense in general.
You are all so impressive people. You are, all of you, so impressive. If I were that clear of what I wanted to do when I was your age, oh my goodness. But here I am. This is the perfect spot to be because I get the opportunity to learn from you, my lady, right there.
My big thing.
Mhm.
I want to see my art somewhere really big, but with that being said, my art is based off of mental health, and if it's somewhere big, then it'll be exposed and socially changed. It'll just all perfect.
Thank you. And your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Wow. You guys are doing some really, really, really cool stuff. My lady here with the glasses, please. Yes.
The big dream or
The big dream.
I'd like to see the technology industry more inclusive and equitable for my art.
What minorities are you referring to? Because there are so many minorities.
Right.
What am I-
LGBTQ, full of color.
Thank you. We still need that. Could you believe it? You were going to tell me something.
I have a
I'm sorry,
question.
William. Yes.
Do you like see a world where people are gonna be treated equally? Do you think that's ever achieved?
That's a great question. I do, but the one thing, and this is a but that is a but, right? The one thing that we have to remember is that we are working because that world already exists. Hear what I'm saying? That world already exists. Companies that have gender or whatever equally, they exist already. We just want more of it. We want it to be mainstream. Places where I can eat vegetarian with no problem, they exist already. We just want more of it. And that's the part we need to remember. Some things we say we are creating. Yes, we are co-creating that new world. And at the same time, we are expanding that exists. Somebody else also have been fighting for it until understood that it's about creation and putting together, aligning wheels and making things happen. We want to make more of it. So I do absolutely believe, I don't know how long is it gonna take. I do believe in quantum leaps because evolution works that way. At some point, there are some things that we all understand and like, that's not a problem. Like, why were we so stuck on that? And then the next thing. I do believe that it's happening. Here we are. My lady with the glasses, please. Yes, big dream.
I want to help see an end to substance abuse.
You want to help what?
Create an end to substance abuse.
So be it. Desire to use yourself well. And then how will you work on it? How are you working on it? What part?
I
What-
want to create long-term housing and rehabilitation services for homeless substance abusers. in the future.
So be it. There is a way. A service, start working. Remember, the first brick all the time is so important. And that's how you are bringing those big dreams into our reality because we start with the first brick. My lady with the glasses on the corner, please.
For my big dream, I said, I want to see the use of art, performance, and fashion for people to express and experience themselves, their peers, and the world around them.
And how you work on that? How are you working on it?
I'm working currently on building a fashion site that not only broadens creativity based off of different cultural fashions, but also focuses on creating a change in sustainability in the fashion industry.
So again, big dream implementation is right here, right now. So always find the first brick, second brick, third brick, lay the ground. My lady.
My dream is to see the cosmetics industry become more sustainable and safe for consumers.
Yeah. And that is happening already. So you're bringing something a little bit different. What are you bringing to the table? Why do you think that is still, what are you incorporating? What are you working on?
I want to focus on creating a company that kind of eliminates a lot of the harsh chemicals that are seen in the majority of like makeup and personal care products, while also creating a packaging biodegradable.
Packaging. So systemic. The word system is not systematic, it's system. System is a whole, a group of entities and their relationships. A people, a family is a system, a country is a system. Any organization for profit and profit is a system, okay? So when you are able to see from a bigger perspective, it's not only about what is inside the product, it's about how the product is packaged. It's about who is making it. It's about what are the conditions for that people to be working on that product or that service. Then you're having a systemic point of view, which is wider, bigger. It's the big picture. And when you see it from that scale, it's completely different because that, with your perspective, with what you're bringing to the table, wow, what a game changer. Because you can see the issue. That's why I tell you, tell me your big dreams. You have done a fantastic job of putting there, what is your big dream? Because it's a sentence. I want to see this end. I want to work with, phenomenal. My lady, please, your dream.
I want to extend and expand the system of care for young adults aging out of the foster care system.
Yes. And how are you working on it?
I'm going to work on it by creating a program that delivers information on access to food, a pathway to higher education, educational programs, and self-care, job opportunities, affordable housing, and mental health care through partnerships with other nonprofit organizations for young adults that just reach out of the foster care system.
Yes. How do we do that? Through partnerships. What are we doing for this population very specifically, right? Like you say there, high school? Did you mention the high school?
For education.
Education, okay. What segment are you helping in particular?
Through education.
No, through education, right? But what segment, age segment? The people that are in high school, people in college already, which one? You see what I'm asking? Which one? What segment?
Well,
are-
it's not exactly education like, oh, like college,
Mhm.
but it's more sort of like hygiene. You just have the possibility. You don't have knowledge of any of the opportunities that are out of that system.
Mhm.
So like, they gave you a very broad subject on that. To expand on the mental health care, how they can reach out for job opportunities. There's just like a lot of them, it would be once they read the system, could be after 18 years of age.
Yeah.
and, like, 25.
Mhm. Okay, so there you tell me. That's the, a segment is just because if I'm talking to somebody that has been here for 3 years and somebody that has been here as an immigrant, okay? If I talk to somebody that has been here 3 years or 10 years, it's a very different conversation. You see what I'm saying? Because they have experienced more and different. And if I'm talking to somebody that is 18 years old coming out of a foster care system or somebody that maybe is 14 in the foster care system, there are differences in that conversation. That's why my question is, where do you want to implement? Because we need to start with something. Are we starting with the little children? Are we starting with the middle school age? Are we starting with already the teenagers that are 18 years old and can already take their own decisions? So it's very different conversation. That's why my question, put it into a segment, just to start with something. Remember, we cannot boil the ocean. We need to start with 1 cup of water. Okay, so always about where do we implement? Did I ask you? I didn't ask you. Did I ask you your pitch, elevator pitch, right? Okay, perfect. Let me see, I have everybody. No, I don't have you. Yes, you. Me? Yes. No, actually, 1 second. Here and the lady on the black, and then I'm going with you because you will tell me.
Big dreams.
Your big dream.
I don't live in a world where that's my company.
In mainstream media. We need that. Oh, we need that. My lady, please, tell me about your big dream.
My big dream is to break down barriers for people with disabilities. I want to see people with disabilities not being discriminated in society. And they have the same opportunities as everyone else.
Yeah. Do you see clearly here, there is a pattern, people, there is a pattern. Every dream that we put out there on your big dreams is connected to our personal story. Yay or nay?
Yeah.
You have lived through that. You have maybe suffered, you have maybe felt rejection, anger, misunderstood, you name it. But you have gone through that. And because you know what it feels, you want to do a difference. And that's why you are social entrepreneurs. Because you want to make an impact. No matter what happens there, you want to make this world different and better. My lady, your big dream.
I wrote it down. I said, I want to see the US implementing more sustainable practices regarding like economical, environmental sustainable practices while reducing like carbon emissions by creating a cleaner earth.
Creating
a cleaner earth.
Cleaner earth. That's a big dream. And how you're implementing that? How you working on it?
Well, so I mentioned how I want to start by providing, because I am passionate about like fashion and kind of reforming the fashion industry and like the animal consumption I've also used within it because I've been a vegan for 4 years. So I want to like provide clothing that implements plant-based materials, lowering the carbon emissions, labeling every, all the emissions that are used, how much water consumption goes into a product. So
perfect. Thank you. So in the fashion industry, Okay, that puts it into a place. So is that, is it a fabric? Is it a line? Is it a production? What is it? So very, very good, the putting, what is the area? I have one more person there in the back, my lady. Yes? Your big dream.
My big dream is to see more children enjoy what they learn and how they learn at school.
That's why I was a homeschooling mom. In my idea, that's what we were doing. And I have to say, to have the freedom to experience how kids learn and the love of learning, that's something that nobody can teach you, but you can enhance it. That's great. How are you working on it?
So we developed a virtual platform to let children, when they are playing games, they also learn knowledge.
Perfect. Wonderful. Ella, your big dream.
I want to live in a world where every single child in the United States receives an equitable education and is fully aware of their opportunities and options outside of high school.
Wow. And how are you working on it?
And right now, currently building a network of college students so that they can speak to current high school students, to give high school students the opportunity to contact someone that is currently in college, ask any questions, tell them their doubts, and kind of just have that like mentorship aspect and allow them to explore if college is something that they want to do.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Right, too. I got it. That we're closing here. I left the last, your big dream, Sammy.
My big dream, okay. My big dream is for the world to understand and believe in the value of diversity and inclusion by creating a culture of belonging instead of tokenism.
Thank you. And how are you working on it?
I'm working on it right now by learning the industry, getting all my knowledge, interacting with minorities, with people that are not minorities as well, to see in what way I can put my seed and help to shape the industry and the world into the vision of the world I have.
Good. Joanne, your big dream.
My big dream. I wrote it down. I want to see equal opportunity of growth for communities living in poverty. I believe that hard work and dedication should bring you a brighter and safer future. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Unfortunately, that is the case. I mean,
We don't need a reminder of the status quo, right? We know that
some
there
people
is
do,
no.
some people do, some people do.
And how are you working on it?
Well, for the past year, I've been working on a business plan that is gonna go in a couple of years if everything goes the way it's going. I want to focus back home in Nicaragua, I want to focus on sustainable agriculture and with the main focus of hiring men and women living in extreme poverty, bringing them the opportunity.
Sustainable agriculture in Nicaragua with fair hiring practices.
Of
There
course,
you
yeah,
go.
fair
So
trade, fair hiring, yes.
You see, when, where, who, what, all right? My lady here, I know that we're closing, but please, yes, you.
I wanted to create a better educational system, based on the student as an individual, not just a number. Because my mentor always said, you are more than just a number, so not just as a grade, but as a whole. So instead of saying, you got an A, you got a B, I want to focus on the students as a whole and what they can achieve.
Wonderful. My lady there with the glasses? Yes, you.
Hi, my name is Agustina Reynoso, and my big dream is I want to see more resources for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault in low-income communities of the
That is so specific, right? Like, it's experience, it's a life experience, it's a community, it's a socioeconomic segment. And I'm not gonna ask anymore because we have time, but you have a clarity there. My lady, please, your big dream. Your big dream, just a big dream.
I want to build an eco-friendly hotel specifically to save endangered animal species in marine life and to reduce plastic pollution.
Very well. Thank you. Right behind you, yeah.
My big dream is to make
just in school, so like, how people with the,
Perfect. Thank you. Am I missing somebody? I think I have asked you everything I could ask today, right? Oh my gosh, I actually, did I ask you your big dream? Yes.
My big dream is for people to improve their lifestyles, through like eating better and more physical activity.
Perfect. Okay, and how are you doing that again?
I actually just presented at my old high school on Wednesday. So this Wednesday I presented to like 30 kids and like went through a whole slideshow like you're doing right now about like my road.
No, that's good. Mine are pretty.
No, not only 30 minutes, but presenting them with like my road to health and working and hopefully motivating them to change their.
Wonderful. Well, listen, again, here we are. Yes, the time is here. I passed like 5 minutes. Definitely, this is what you're doing right now. I'm utterly impressed with your, wow, I am so hopeful. So Julia, when you were asking if the world is going to change, yes, it's happening. I see it right here in this room. And I have total trust that things are happening because here you are. You're bringing equality, you're bringing education, you're bringing mental health, you're bringing sustainability, you're bringing everything and anything, justice. And that's what we need. So if you ever say, I am losing hope and faith in humanity, just come to me and I'll remind you about yourselves because you are what I really ever dreamed to see happening. And it's happening right here in front of me. So this is what I say. You are already finding about yourself. It's never gonna end. But who you are and why you do what you do. Always connect with your community, which you are doing already. Always see the need and feel the need because that's what you are doing as entrepreneurs. And always your calling will emerge. All of it is related to your personal stories. Let it roll. Thank you. Okay. Here. Let me just put it here.
Some words.
Okay, so I wanted to thank you first for coming to the master course. I've been waiting for this moment since last year. I was like very excited for you to be here and get to know the work we're doing and for like my classmates to know the work I see you do every single day. I'm honored to be here and to like work with you and see you in like different facets of your life. I've seen you as a director, as a boss, as a mother, as a teacher, as a facilitator, a public speaker. So like this is one of the other checks of amazing experience I have with you. In Watson, we have a saying that we protect our courage. And by you being here and teaching us and encourage us, you're definitely protecting your courage. So I'm honored to keep you as one of oh my God. Yes, and thank you for protecting our courage. Thank you for coming here today. And thank you for being amazing. Thank you.
It's an honor for me to be here. Hey, do I give this or is just like a it's just awesome. Can I give it for lunch?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Yulimar, and thank you so much, everybody. This was really amazing. Thank you for putting your heart out. Thank you so much, everyone who will head out now to take pictures. And if you have my pen, please. I can, but I'm not going to.